Welcome to Early Morning Psychology. I'm Alex Sikorsky.
And I'm Dario Kokic.
On today's show, we have two very special case studies to explain. Dario and I covered the first case study, and we had special guest David Abaddon to cover the second. David is a professional researcher on mood disorders and was able to gather up groundbreaking information. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy today's show. The first case study we have for you guys today is about a 41-year-old gentleman from the UK who has bipolar disorder, migraines, and epilepsy. It is uncommon for all three of these problems to coexist with each other, and this is why this case is so special. This man only has these three problems and has no other records of any medical history. Management of his depressive episodes with simple selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors and mood stabilizers were either ineffective or precipitated complicating adverse effects. Persistent use of citalopram is likely to have triggered bipolar disorder, whilst quetiapine induced seizures.
Basically, the medicine that this man is taking to help with these problems are actually making things worse for the situation. The migraines and the epilepsy problem are two medical conditions that are definitely affecting the man's behavior because they go hand in hand with this bipolar disorder. These two conditions are making it more complex to treat the disorder because of the three may fall on the same pathopsychological spectrum.
For the past 8 years, this man has had a history of depression and mood instability and has a 1-year history of migraine and seizures. Something that we found not surprising at all is that his house was repossessed 2 years prior to this case study, and this was when his depression increased and became worse. Symptoms described included persistent low mood and feeling like he wanted to curl up and die. He had lost motivation in completing his college course and partaking in other activities of interest. He was also noticed to become increasingly socially withdrawn.
Somatic symptoms included sleep onset insomnia, nocturnal awakenings, and loss of appetite and weight. Over the past year, he has also experienced heightened moods, and this includes inappropriate social behaviors and the overspending of money. He once even stayed awake for 72 hours and didn't sleep. These periods of elevated mood can last up to 10 days. Between the periods, he switches from high to low moods. He feels some sort of anger, which has caused him to be violent towards his mother.
5 days after this man started taking quetiapine, which can help treat bipolar disorder, seizures started occurring and he was diagnosed with epilepsy. The migraine started occurring since 2011, which was a year before we conducted this case study. He also has had a social phobia and agoraphobia since age 14, which all leads to his chronic anxiety. He has also tried to commit suicide twice because of his depression, and this occurred 2 years ago in 2010.
Another incident that occurred during his childhood was that during secondary school, he was bullied by a group of boys and was raped by a gang leader in the school showers. This event was unnoticed and he didn't tell anyone because he was experiencing family stressors at the time. At age 19, he has in a relationship for 18 months before his girlfriend became unfaithful and cheated on him. Upon mental state evaluation, he had a reactive effect and negative cognition during periods of low mood, but never held abnormal beliefs or percepts. Insight was always good. Physical examination is always normal, but with noticeable weight loss during his certain low mood exacerbations.
On the global assessment of functioning scale, we place this man at a 40. This is described as impairments in reality testing or communication or major impairment in family relations, judgment, thinking, or mood. He has developed many problems over the years and lacks the ability to function without problems. As we went over, he has 3 medical conditions in which impair him from living a normal life. His multiple states of mind make it hard for him to think correctly, and this is why he cannot make proper judgments in society. Now, we'll switch it over to Mr. Abaddon for the second case study of the morning. David, take it away.
Thanks, guys. At the time of the coverage, Ian Gallagher is a 15-year-old boy from the south side of Chicago when he was first diagnosed. His siblings Lip, Fiona, Carl, Debbie, and Liam have been practically raising themselves because their father is an alcoholic and his mother also has bipolar disorder. Life at home was not easy. Ian was dealing with coming out to his family and decided to go into the Army, which inevitably made his condition worse. When he came back to Windy City, he had extreme manic episodes. For instance, he would wake up in an extreme, profound, euphoric mood, or he would get so angry that he could possibly kill a person. When he was in his depressive state, he tends to hide under a blanket for days. EMP was so intrigued in Ian that a couple of our news anchors shadowed him for one day to see what his life is like. We went into the house at 9, and from the first jump, it was a wreck. Ian and Lip, as they call him, were fighting about who would be helping Fiona to pay rent. As they were fighting, the light and water went off because, according to Ian, they have not paid the bill in 3 months. To add to the stress, his father tries to beat him up whenever he comes home, and also asks for money to buy more booze. As the family erupted, his mother came in, and hearing from the conversation, they have not seen her in 5 months. The stress from my life has prolonged ever since I was 13, Gallagher said. After Liam was born, my mom left us to drive. Every day I drove or walked my dad home because he could not do it himself, he continued. This further led him to drink and smoke marijuana. After years of driving and acting like a parent, Ian has never had any previous medical history until he started to get episodes. Years have passed, and now Ian is 19 years of age. He's working as an EMT and is controlling his disorder very well, but still have to work out some episodes. Based on a GAS scale from his therapist, he first started around 20. Basically, he was pretty much dangerous. Now, 19, he's around 70 or an 80, which is a person who has mild symptoms but can basically work in a public office.